Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the film How the Toys Saved Christmas. Now, as you know, How the Toys Saved Christmas, or as it was originally known as, La Fresca Azzurra, known as the Blue Arrow, was a 1996 Italian animated film. Now, in the original film, was meant to feature the holiday at Plene, which during the Eve event, Bifina, who was meant to be an old woman who delivered gifts to children throughout Italy, and was kind of meant to be similar to Santa Claus, but totally different. Now, in the US version, when Miramax sort of adapted it in 1997, we kind of saw how they did change a lot of things, like changing Bifina and renaming her Granny Rose, and being described as Santa Claus's helper. And yeah, they do kind of change the film to be set on Christmas Eve. And this does remind me a lot with Pokemon, when 4Kids changed the whole rice balls into jelly donuts, or basically when Digimon got made for Fox Kids, you had kind of adult themes and other stuff removed. And it kind of reminds me a bit of Super Sentai, when you had Ranger that kind of dealt with a more different themed until being adapted for Power Rangers. And I get it, Western audience wasn't ready for other cultures just yet. So pretty much in the American version, we kind of see how Granny Rose has fallen ill, and we kind of see that he entrusts the help of Mr. Grimm to help deliver the toys throughout Christmas. And throughout it, we kind of see how Mr. Grimm has planned to kind of auction off the toys and steal the money and everything else. So we see how the other toys band together to kind of find themselves their homes to their rightful owners. And I think the film has a good idea and definitely tries to kind of show how the toys want to find their true homes and true place. I kind of think when you've got the young kid in the film, Christopher Winter, his character is there, but again, he just kind of feels like he's in the sidelines. I know in the American version, he kind of writes to Santa on behalf of his friend Charlie, and we also kind of see how instead of wanting the Blue Arrow for himself, he mainly wants a friend for Christmas, which is obviously meant to be the toy dog Jingles, who later becomes an actual dog. And I know the film does piece together the original deleted scenes and everything else, and yeah, this is kind of like altering what was changed. And I think what I kind of give the film credit is that it's kind of got a more finding your true place story, but also not taking itself too seriously. And again, I don't think Mr. Grimm is a great villain because he doesn't really come off as completely successful. He just kind of comes across like a more Looney Tune-ish style villain. And I know in the US version, they do kind of change the soundtrack from the original film to a more Christmassy thing. I know in the original version of the Blue Arrow, they do kind of change, like, in the original version, the music having a more Italianish, like, music. And I think with 83 minutes, I think they don't pull off too much, but I think that was the point of the film. Like, it's meant to kind of have stopping the bad guy storyline, finding your true place, as well as kind of saving Christmas from the bad guy. Or in the original version, Let Fanny, which, yeah, is basically Italian's version, something similar to Christmas. And I think, yeah, despite a lot of things being changed from the Blue Arrow, I think the film at least tries to do what it can. And like I said, it's even interesting to kind of hear Sonja Bell, as well as some of the cast members who did play in Arthur, to do this sort of film. And I know that, yeah, sometimes I know actors who come from Canada are usually asked to kind of portray in a sort of Americanish project, And this is like what happened with the Arrowverse, having actresses and actors from the previous stuff that you've seen them in to play this sort of role. And I think, well, yeah, How the Toys Saved Christmas isn't a perfect movie, and yeah, despite it being a little bit butchered, it's kind of alright. And I think the animation does remind me a bit of Disney Doug, or a kind of Doug cartoon. So I think it definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.